Hi and welcome to another episode of TRX Bench. Well, here today on the bench a vintage DNT CV2000 and well, let me tell you the little story behind it, and that is the reason why I thought it might be nice to do a little video on that. This radio came in for a pre-holiday check. So this radio was in the shelf of the owner for, I don't know, more than 15 years and has been never used during that time. And now he just wanted to go into holiday together with friends, family, and so they are on the road with two trucks, and then he remembered that he still have this little DNT, and well, he thought, well, it's really quite old. I do not know if this radio will work, so might be the best to bring it to somebody who could check it out, and well, if it is working, then of course I can use it for my trip. And so that is a little story how this radio came to my bench, and so it is here. I really do not have a clue if it is working or not, so let's find out together what's really going on, and let's check if it receive and if it is transmitting like it should, and if so, yeah, the owner can really take it for his holiday trip. So let's start. And yeah, you should see it. So it is really fresh out of his shelf. So a lot of dust is here on the radio. So it is really nice. Okay, so let's connect it to the power supply, and let's see if there is any life here in our DNT CV2000. Alright, so radio is already connected to the power supply, and now let's see if it directly works. And well, so I do not really take here some precautions to be very careful to switch it on and to bring it back to life with low voltage and so forth and so forth. I mean, this radio is from 1994, and you know, it does not have any real financial worth, so we just can do it. If it works, fine. If not, it goes into the garbage. Okay, so let's try and have a look. So it is definitely working here somehow, and we can hear the speaker. It is set to, you can change between two, I believe it was called emergency channels 19 and 9, and okay, so you can change very quick to these positions. And okay, so this radio has 40 channels, and it is obviously a FM unit only. So what we have here is the old yeah, so that is the old BZT number, or the CPT number, that it is a real radio which has a permission to be used in Europe. So yeah, 40 channels, and then it goes down to 1, and you can move here through all the channels, and if you want to go very quickly to channel 19, you can do it this way. And of course the same with channel 9. Okay, next is to connect our communication tester to the radio to see what our receiver is doing. Okay, and our little radio is connected to our communication tester. So yeah, let's switch in here our speaker. Now let me set an AF signal to the radio, and our speaker is quiet, so even that this radio does not have an S meter, that is telling me that it obviously receives our signal. So let me go over to the tester. Okay, so you see that we have set here our radio to channel 4, which is 27005 megahertz, and yeah, we have set minus 73 dBm level, but there is no modulation so far. So now let's switch in our modulation. Let's see if it works. And yeah, it is working. It is just fine. So let me switch off here our speaker, because now we see here our sign, and yeah, we see that the radio is receiving very nice. I mean, our SYNAT, which we are reading here, is a typical CB radio SYNAT at full input power, or not full, on S9 input power. For us it is now interesting to see what our SYNAT will be if we reduce here our level. Let me say 12 dB. Let's see what our generator is finding out. Oh, so that is quite nice. So I requested here an automatic test, and I asked for 12 dB, and you see that we have minus 123.9, which is a very nice level, and we can hear in the noise that there is still our signal, right? So that is what we want to hear, of course. We can hear it as well, and of course we can increase here a little bit our level so that we are more close to our 12 dB, because you see it is bouncing back and forth, so that is clear with all the noise in the background. But basically I would say it is not too bad. So with really minus 123 we can call it. So you see now it is jumping a little bit, but basically I would say that is still nice without any problems. So yeah, nothing to complain so far. Okay, and simply because we are working on it, let's test for bandwidth. So that is an important performance indication. So we just want to have an IF bandwidth which is not too wide, but on the other hand, of course, our FM modulation must fit in, because otherwise we wouldn't get our complete audio bandwidth, so that is important as well. By the way, our synod has improved, so that is telling me the radio is getting warm and is improving our figures, so I'm quite happy with 27 dB synod, so that is just good. Okay, so now let's check here for bandwidth. This is an automatic test, so you see the tester will start and move through different RF level steps to finally find the bandwidth and the frequency offset from the middle, and we would be quite satisfied if we are around, I don't know, 6, 7 kilohertz bandwidth, so that would tell me that everything is fine and our offset should not too big. So very nice. So we have a bandwidth of 8 kilohertz, so that is just fine. Remember, our steps, our channel steps are 10 kilohertz, and if we really work with high modulated signals, then we really fill this 10 kilohertz, and our bandwidth here is 8 kilohertz, so that is the 3 dB marks, so that is fine. And you see we have a frequency offset of only 100 hertz, which is definitely fine, so really no problem with it. Quite happy with this performance indicator, so very nice. Now we can go over for TX testing. Okay, so let's go over to TX, and everything is prepared. We should have here an output signal of approximately 4 watt, which is usual for CB radios. So let's see what we have. Okay, so our output power is 4.27 watt, so, and it is getting warm, so the output power is dropping, that is fine. But have a look to the frequency, so that is the output frequency, and remember we are still on channel 4, which should be 27005. So that is now showing here a wrong output frequency, and I do not really see that the radio is modulating, which is a little bit odd, to be honest. I do not like it. So let's double check with my counter to be sure that nothing is wrong here. Okay, and again let's perform here our TX test. I have recognized that there was a calibration error in my RNS, so I have performed a self-calibration, so that is something you always need to have in mind. And now once again, and now again we are on channel 4, so you see 27005, but there is still a little frequency error, so that is something we should check a little bit more in depth. Let's see here our modulation. so that is 2.1 kilohertz. Once again. Yeah, so that means our FM modulation is 2 kilohertz, which is fully in spec for a CB radio. So that seems to be fine. But now let me put here my counter to the radio to really get an accurate reading, because we do not have enough digits here. And yeah, I want to have an absolute accurate testing that we exactly know where we are. And you already knows it. I use for this my Rakaldana frequency counter, and let's see what we have. Nothing very nice, because I'm here on the manual. Yeah, let me show it. I'm here on the manual modulation meter, but we want, of course, to check here our frequency. Now I have the right input here, and now let's see what we have. And yeah, so we have 27005, 100. Yeah, 78, 76, whatever. Okay, and that means our radio is 178 hertz off, and that is still in tolerance, because an FM radio can have an error of about 200 hertz, and that means we are totally in, and therefore that is not really you know, a problem, but maybe we will have a look inside our radio for a little inspection, and yeah, then we can of course correct it a little bit if we like, and if you like, we can of course hang it here over to our modulation meter as well, and can compare the figures what we have seen on our CMS. So my tester is set here to maximum 3 kilohertz, so it is a lower scale here, right? And yeah, let's see what we can test here. Yeah, and it is approximately the same, so it is a bit here over 2 kilohertz. I know that this is not the testing how you should perform it, so normally we should feed in a test tone of 1K, and then we should watch our meter. Okay, and I will do it with 1 kilohertz test tone, just to do it right. And you see now we get a proper reading, which is valid now. It is 2.2, I believe, 2.2 kilohertz, and that is now our FM modulation, which is really nice. So our audio should be loud and clear on the receiving radio. And as promised, here is our little radio cracked open, and yeah, you see it is definitely old school. So the radio is from 93, 94, so you see it is really old, and yeah, normally it wouldn't worse to do the work I do, but I thought it is a nice little information how you approach such issues, and basically it is always the same. So you would do exactly the same with a business radio or with a ham radio or whatever. So that was a good opportunity simply to show how you approach it. Interesting year. So it is always fun. Almost all units I open, I see that somebody probably was before in. So this here is the amplifier, the RF amplifier section. So it is nicely shielded, and yeah, so yeah, most likely the final transistor has already been swapped. Okay, so down here, and that is what we wanted to do. So we have here, of course, our PLL chip, and we have here our reference crystal, and beneath that we have our trimmer to adjust finally our reference frequency. And we have seen that the radio is a little bit off, and it is kind of funny. So how much it already changed if you simply take off here the lid, right? Because when the lid is closed, we have seen we have approximately 180 Hertz off, and if we do exactly the same right now, then we are over 200 Hertz, and that is because a normal crystal is so much sensitive for heat that you know, you cannot get it really solid. So let's go over to our counter, and then I show you what I mean. Alright, and here you can see the figure. So we are transmitting on channel 4, 27005, and now I only touch the crystal with my fingers. So have a look, and that is definitely moving down. So I'm of course heating up the crystal with my body temperature, and you see how much it is decreasing, and that is why normal crystals are always a problem, right? Now let me grab here a little screwdriver, a ceramic screwdriver, and let's try to align it just a little bit better. Alright, so let's see if we can change here a little bit our frequency, and so that is what I thought. It will not be very easy with you know, quality like this here. So that is definitely a difficult task, as we really have here, so we all know that is definitely not the highest quality. So let me try to get it a little bit better off camera, and then let's see how it works out. Okay, look, and that is very promising. We are now, I don't know, 10, 12, 14 Hertz off, and we still have the lid off here from our radio. And again, when I touch now, you see, so that is simply when I touch it, you see that the frequency directly changes. And I hope that when we have back the lid, that then we might get on the right spot. Yeah, and I simply put here the lid on, and you see it is already better. So let me directly go down here so that you can see it. So of course I'm transmitting, and now with lit on we are almost where we want to be. And well, as I told you, with FM radios the frequency is not that critical as it would be with an SSB radio. So 200 Hertz are always allowed, and now we are so close that we really can be happy with the result. Alright, and for a final overview, I just put it back here to our R&S, and yeah, what I wanted to show you is when I now push here our PTT, and we are on transmit, so you see we are really almost there. So no problem whatsoever. Everything is working just fine, and therefore we are really here at the end of our little story. And here it is, our little DNT CV2000 ready for holiday. So I hope that our friend has a nice holiday, and yeah, of course we wish him a good time with a nice working vintage CB radio. And yeah, I'm at the end of this video, and thank you for watching, and catch you next time. Bye.